welcome to Take Two, the show that takes a look back at previous guests from my Friday conversation show over on IG Live. I take a moment to revisit old guests and see the strides and moves that they've made. Today's guest is no different. He's a content creator and one of my co-hosts from the conference call. Help me welcome TJ. What's up, TJ? How you
What
doing,
is it?
sir?
I'm good. I am fantastic. A little warm because I just got out the shower, but I'm good.
Okay. I see you staying hydrated there.
Of course, always.
All right. So when this airs, it'll probably be about a year since you were on the Friday Conversation show over on IG. 'Cause I believe your show aired on November 4th, which I can't believe it's been a year already.
That's crazy. Because I
It is.
it doesn't feel like a year.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
Like, are you
But
sure?
it is. I listen. I have a list of
Oh,
everybody
okay.
that's been on, the dates that I booked them, the days that it aired. But it's been crazy. This year has been actually pretty good for you, hasn't it?
It's been a good year. It's flown by.
It
It's really
has
flown by for me. It's really hard for me to believe that we're about to be in November.
already.
Because I'm just like, because last year to me, I feel like went so slowly, even though it was super eventful. But this year, I'm just like, it was just January. I'm very confused.
Yep.
So yeah.
They say time flies by when you're having fun, and especially when you're getting older. You might not want to pony up to that one, but guess what, my friend? We're all aging in the same direction.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that second part of the sentence, but
Okay. Well,
yeah.
let's get past that. Let's get
All
past that.
right. Yeah,
So
let's.
in the last year, let's go back to when you were on. I think when you were on, you were in school, but I believe you still had a job. A lot has changed since then. So talk about some of the changes in regards to the work situation.
Oh, did I have a job then still? Well, I ain't got one now. So I'm still in school. I quit my job last no, I quit my job last August. So I
Okay.
was not working.
Okay.
So yeah, no, not working still, even though that may change soon. Still in school, but I'm very, very, very close to the finish line. I will be finishing in March, which is sooner than I expected. I thought I was going to be done in June, but as fate has it, um, long story short, I'm able to finish a little bit earlier than I expected. So that's a good thing.
That's awesome.
That's yeah. I'm excited about that because the sooner I can get done, the better.
Well, let me answer this. I think, is it part of it the fact that you took the time off from corporate America to really focus on school allowed you to graduate a little bit earlier also?
That's part of it. That's part of it. So basically, the way I'm able to graduate a couple of months sooner than I expected is I'm able to take for this particular quarter, the fall quarter, I'm able to take two classes instead of just one. So when I first started in January of last year in this program, I was only taking one class per quarter. And so of
Oh,
course, if you take more classes per quarter, you can finish sooner. And so basically I found out some information that made it was going to be more advantageous for me to go ahead and take these two classes this quarter, as opposed to taking one class this quarter, another class next quarter, and then another class in the summer quarter and finishing in the summer. So yeah, I'm doubling up this go round, which allows me to finish sooner. Quitting my job definitely does it. I wouldn't be able to work. I feel like I wouldn't be able to work and to take two classes this quarter because that's a lot going on. So it does help. It's also quitting my job also helped me to really it really did help me to focus on schoolwork and projects and getting things done because my focus isn't split.
okay. I want to touch on why you left your job and what it's meant for you mentally as well. Talk a little bit about that. So for those that haven't watched the IG Live, when you talked about it last year, what has it meant to you to walk away from the position that you had?
So first of all, I like to say that I was one of the I feel like I was one of the first people who was involved in the Great Resignation because everybody started quitting their job like right after the pandemic and blah blah. So um it really, what quitting my job meant, like um taking a bet on myself and putting myself first, and really focusing on the things that I know are going to make me happy, focusing on my passions, doing work that I actually want to do, as
Mhm.
opposed to work that I have to do simply to get paid and, get a check every 2 weeks or whatever. Um, so yeah, it was a bet on myself. It was a leap of faith. It was me saying, all right, I'm in school. School is really what I wanted to do, really what I want to do, in the direction I want to go in. So let me X this out. Let me 86 this, which is work. Let me 86 this, because they started acting up in the way at my job. So I said, let me just 86 that, and let me focus in the direction that I wanted to go. So that was basically that. I mean, that was basically like what it meant. And I had never done anything like that before. Like, I had never ever quit my job without actually actively seeking another job, or without actually having another job lined up to go right into. So it was definitely, it was, like I said, it was a leap of faith. But and I have been working since I was 16. I got my first job at 16 and I quit at 36. So 20 years I was working. So I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and just retire real quick, and I'll work again, but I'm gonna just retire just for a little while. And so that's what I did.
Do you feel as though it's helped you mentally just be a better person?
Whew! Absolutely. It's not only be a better person, but to grow into my more authentic self, and to really truly be who I am, and how I've always kind of seen myself. And that, I mean, that's still a work in progress. This year I've done things that I really never even thought I would do. For instance, go to the Beyonce concert, be in Club Renaissance wearing an outfit that I never thought I would be wearing, and just all kinds of things. So it has definitely helped me to grow and just be, you find out who you are when you remove certain things from your life. For instance, having to go to a job and having to fit into that particular mold, or fit that mold into your life, because you don't, at least I didn't realize, like, what a big part of work, the role that work plays in your life, what, even outside of work, when you're not working, it still plays a big role, because there are certain things that you won't do because I got to go to work the next day, or blah 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 blah. So it really frees up a lot of bandwidth when you aren't working. And I realize it's a privilege. It's a privilege to say, "Oh, I'm not going to work, and I'm not going to actively seek another job." It's a huge privilege, and I realize that a lot of people, probably most people, like, can't just do this and say. And I never thought that I would be able to, but the universe loves me that much. So
Well, listen, you have to thank the universe, and
hello.
it's not easy. It's not easy. I'm sure that you've had your moments when you doubted yourself. Was this the right decision? Did I do the right thing?
Hmm.
But when you look back at it, I think it's probably beneficial for you. And I think, like you said, you were able to find your authentic self, and to just be in the moment and live life for the moment. You'll get back into the workforce, and then on top of it, you'll have a lot more to add to your resume on top of it.
Yeah.
So when people ask you, well, why is there a year gap in it, you say, hey, I went back to school to better myself, and now I'm doing what I want to do.
Facts.
Yeah. So in addition to, let's see, um doing school, starting school again, quitting your job, you also teamed up with myself and Rex,
Did
and we
I?
were, yeah, you kind of
Oh.
did.
Oh, I guess I did.
And you are one of the three of the conference call. And if for those that have not watched us on YouTube, please go check out the conference call over on YouTube.
Right
Now,
now.
yeah. So we started our YouTube channel last fall, I believe it was.
Something like
But
that.
yeah, and prior to that, we were doing Instagram lives on the conference call page, and
Hmm.
we always wanted it to be a YouTube feed where we could pre-record content, put it out there, do some lives, but then just also reach a larger crowd, and then also have better quality. And plus, that's what YouTube was for.
Yeah.
So I want to spend a little bit of time talking about the experience of doing the conference call, and what it's meant to you and how it's affected you, and what you're doing, because in addition to the conference call, you've also have your own YouTube channel, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later. But I want to just kind of springboard off of the conference call and what it's meant to you.
Okay. It's like it's another outlet for me. And it's a really good way to have really good conversations with uh two other people who have a similar background, but but also very different background. Um, so obviously we will get into conversations where some of us have different opinions. We'll talk about things that are interesting to either one of us at any given time or whatever. So yeah, it's a really good time. It's a really good conversation, and sometimes it's kind of a serious conversation, and a lot of times, if you leave it up to me, it's going to be very much less serious. But yeah, it's a good time. It's obviously we do it regularly. We're on break right now. I don't know if we're going to still be on break when this comes out.
Yeah, we will be.
So yeah, we're on break right now. We're on a season break. We finished up season 1. Was it last week or week before?
Last week. Yeah. Well, when this airs, it'll be a couple weeks, but it was a week before. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, we'll be coming back for season 2 at some point. And but yeah, it's a really good like outlet for more of my creative energies. Just speaking for myself. But yeah, we've been at it for a while. Like we started on IG, we started 2021?
Yeah, well, so yeah, when we started this really in 2021, but we were doing it just between ourselves. We took some time. We knew we wanted to do this. We're 3 friends, and we wanted to do something creative in social media, and we started off on IG. But before we even went live on IG and doing this, we would do a weekly call, video chat, just between the 3 of us, and just talk about different topics. And the reason why we did that was just so we could get our chemistry to come out and just to be its natural self. Because a lot of times what I felt that when I watched certain people on social media or on YouTube is that when they're interacting, it doesn't seem genuine. Sometimes it seems forced. Mm-hmm. And I never ever wanted it to be like that with us. So we spent almost about a year just doing these video calls once a week. And then we decided, all right, you know what? Now it's time to start doing these IG lives with the intent of eventually moving it over to YouTube. Mm-hmm. And I think we did it for maybe a couple of months on IG. And then we realized, one, we were kind of sick of all of the craziness on IG as far as
the lag,
the lag, the audio cutting out, the syncing not being there.
Yeah.
But the one thing I will say that I loved about IG was the live interaction that we would get right there, people commenting. But we knew we could get that on YouTube as well. Then we decided, let's just pull the trigger. We started building up the YouTube page as far as like getting assets ready, getting an intro and stuff like that, and then just doing the live. Actually, I think when we started the YouTube, we started it live, and then we decided to transition to just doing all pre-recorded stuff.
That's right.
Yeah. Which was actually, I think, probably better for us because we had a little bit more control over what we were putting out. And I think we got a lot more interaction with the pre-recorded content versus the live, because a lot of times people aren't able to watch live. Yes, they can watch it afterwards, but there was something about just doing pre-recording and putting it out. It's been an amazing journey doing this with you guys. I like you said, the chemistry is just there, and we have a great time. And it's funny. I don't know about you, but I know that for me, I'm able to show another side of myself when I come on camera with you guys. This the banter that we have back and forth, and the cattiness that we can have sometimes. But it's fun.
Rex.
It's fun, and we don't take ourselves too seriously. And even when we have really serious topics, we still try to keep it lighthearted. There's so much drama and trauma going on in the world. I don't think we need to bring that to our feed and our channel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as you had mentioned, we are currently on a slight hiatus. We're taking a break from recording the conference call, and we're pursuing individual projects. And this is not a Destiny's Child. We've broken up and gone our separate ways. This is literally
even though we all know
Yes, Beyonce. Come on. Where's your blonde wig? Where's your blonde wig? This is the type of banter that we have on the conference call. So if you're not watching, you're missing out. But
Facts.
we're working on our individual projects, and I want to give you the time and the space to talk about, especially two of the shows that you're currently doing over on your YouTube channel. So first of all, okay, so let's let everyone know where they can find you on YouTube, and then talk about your shows, how you came about them, and then what it is that you do on them.
Okay, where do I start? So my everywhere on social media, I am Bizarre Hodgepodge, BZARHODGPODG. I feel like that's just smart branding because I like why would you be one thing on one place? Anyway, so yeah, Bizarre Hodgepodge on everything, YouTube, Instagram. I call it Twix now, Twitter and X. Um and Threads. So yeah, on my YouTube though, I started my YouTube some point in the past. I can't remember it, but maybe like I think it was like year before last, but I didn't really start. Actually, no, it was 2020 because I was doing my site, my blog, bizarrehodgepodge.com, and sometimes I would do a video, and the best way for me to post a video on there was to post it on YouTube first. So there are actually videos from 2020 on my YouTube. But anyway, yeah, so I started my YouTube, and what I'm now doing regularly are two-ish shows. One I'm doing very regularly every Friday, which is Fashion Show Fridays, where basically we, people who view the videos, go to virtually a fashion show. And the reason that I started that is because I'm doing it because I always have seen myself like front row at fashion shows. That's yet to happen, but it will. And so I'm just like, you know what? And I believe that like fashion shows and fashion really should be for everybody. And so I decided I came up with the idea of Fashion Show Fridays, which is basically like me with a green screen, watching a fashion show, and then in post production, I do all the editing. So the fashion show is like on the green screen behind me, and basically I'm just kind of reacting to like the looks that come down the runway, the various runways or whatever, commenting on those looks and what have you. And it's really it's a labor of love. Because again, like I fashion and styling is like my love language. It's the thing that shuts out all the bullshit, all the anxiety, all of the shit that's going on in the world. I'm just like, okay, this is where I can focus in. So I do Fashion Show Fridays every Friday, although well, when this comes out, it's going to be a couple of weeks. I skipped this past week because I was really focusing on school, but that will not be a regular thing. Skipping, I mean. Then there's also every time I say it, I want to say Threads. I have to be very conscious of Tweed, not Threads. Tweed. So there's Tweed, which I started a couple of months ago. I had to take a break from that because it requires a little bit more effort and work, both in production and post production. So it takes a lot more editing and it takes a lot more like energy for me to actually do those. And like with me being like in school right now, I was like, oh, it's hard for me to keep this up on a weekly basis. So I hit pause on that for just a little while. Although I do think once I go on winter break, which is like a month and a half, the break is like a month and a half, I will post some more of the Tweed videos. But basically, Tweed is a combination of two of my favorite things: tea and weed, or cannabis. Tea and weed, and so it's basically like me it's kind of podcast style. So it's like me just talking about any given topic on that particular day with tea and weed accompanying me on my journey.
Okay.
So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing. I do some shorts every now and again. I do some get ready with me videos, some very rough get ready with me videos every now and again on my YouTube.
So, I look at the two YouTube shows that you're doing as a culmination of what you were doing over on IG. You used to have like these streams of consciousness where you would just do these lives or
Mm-hmm.
you would do stories, and they were just like short snippets of what you were going through throughout the day or whatever was on your mind. Whereas these are a lot more focused and more intentional, but still along that same vein of how you put yourself out there on social media.
Yeah,
Um, I think this is just the evolution of TJ and his experience online.
I agree. I yeah, so I started doing that on Instagram, and really it wasn't even like a conscious thing. It was almost like a natural thing just to like start talking because, and I'm sure I have said this before. I used to do those types of like videos like to friends in my group chat that I used to work with because I used to talk about people that we used to work with, and so at one point I'm pretty sure my good friend Tiffany was like, you should do these on Instagram or something. I was like, girl, what? And so then I started doing them on Instagram, and then I started bizarrehodgepodge.com in 2020. And then I started my YouTube. So it's really been a journey. It's really have been quite a journey. To be honest, all of this really started like on Twitter and Tumblr back in the day because
Mm,
I started a blog on Tumblr, good old days of Tumblr. I started a blog on Tumblr. I was tweeting back in the day when Twitter was fun. And then yeah, it's just kind of been a natural evolution up until the point where I am now.
okay. So, all this brings me into this next point, which is a culmination of everything you've been doing up until this point. You've recently just started a business, and I
Yeah.
want you to talk about that, talk about where you are in the process and what that business is about.
First of all, this is an exclusive.
Uh-oh.
No one knows that I have started this business. Well, no one on the internet knows that I have started this business. But yes, so Bizarre Hodgepodge is actually now a business. Um,
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. So it is now a business as of October 8th of this year. So a couple weeks ago. Bizarre Hodgepodge is now a business. It's now a fully established entity that the government can look at, which
Okay.
scares the shit out of
And
me.
take taxes from you.
I cursed.
It's
Um,
okay. It's okay.
um, so yeah, and take taxes, right? And business accounts and blah blah. Anyway, so that's now a thing. Also under the Bizarre Hodgepodge umbrella is the Bizarre Styling Agency. So that is my personal styling business that I am launching and getting off the ground. So yeah, nobody on the internet knows this until now, actually. So yeah,
Okay.
I've started the business, which again, natural evolution. When I started Bizarre Hodgepodge on Tumblr, never could have imagined that I would be like actually having that as a business. But here we are. So yeah,
That's
I have done that, and thankfully the program that I'm in school,
mhm.
it's giving me even more ideas of what to do with my business that I never really even would have considered. Um, and so yeah, I have so many different ideas of just a bunch of different things outside of styling that I actually want to do and will do eventually. So that was the main purpose of actually starting the business, so that I'm like, let me actually put these things into motion and start working on all of these ideas and these projects that I actually want to work on. Because why not? I'm getting a master's degree in creative business leadership. I had
Absolutely.
better do something, with within the realm of creative business leadership. So
Yeah. So let's talk about the styling portion of this because I know that especially this past year you've really started really working as a stylist and you have a couple clients.
mhm.
Talk about that experience, what it's meant to you for people to entrust you with that because that is a huge responsibility. So talk a little bit about that.
It is a huge responsibility, and I am thankful that people actually trust me enough to actually do that. So uh, yeah, so I have a couple of clients. Rex is actually one of them. And what I do, again, styling is my love language. Like I tell my best friend, I told my best friend this a couple of times. Like when people actually like trust my advice and actually wear something that I suggest, or I can put something together for them that they already own, like that's within their closet, and they actually wear it to whatever function or whatever event or whatever occasion that they are wanting to, wear it to, or like I put something together for them again that they already own that they never thought could go together in a certain way. It touches me in a very special spot, and that's how I know that this is the thing that I'm meant to do. That is how I know that like this is the mark, or one of the marks that I'm meant to make on this earth in the time that I am here. So yeah, people actually trusted me to do this for them, and so it's I'm very grateful for it, because it's, how like that even like maybe as a kid, or I may just be speaking for myself, even like when you're a kid, like there's something that's like in the back of your head that that you're supposed to do,
Mm-hmm.
but like you aren't quite sure what it is. This is it for me. This is it for me. Like I've always had like an idea of the things that I want to wear. And I've always had like this kind of rebellious kind of like spirit. I've told the story before, like where I went to school one day, I didn't wear my uniform because my parents were out of town. And so I wore whatever the hell I wanted to wear that day. That to me, I feel like was the start of little baby stylist TJ, baby stylist bazaar. It's really wearing what you want to wear, and that is one of the reasons why I like to style people, because I truly do not I don't. So I like to people watch a lot, and I like to just observe people. And so when I'm going about my day, just out and about or whatever, and I see what people are wearing, and I see that so many people look the same, like they're wearing almost like a uniform of what everybody else is wearing. I'm like, why when you could really be wearing like something that truly expresses who you are, so that's in big nutshell of like why I started styling and why I do what I do.
Okay, so talk about the experience of actually working with Rex, because we're going to have him on here.
Child, it was difficult. It was so hard. No, actually,
For those that don't know us, this is the type of chemistry that we have when we're doing the conference call, and this is how we interact as friends. Also,
I'm gonna fire him. I'm firing him as a client. No, it was actually again, I am. And I actually don't think I've even said this to Rex, but it was actually it was a very affirming experience for me, because Rex was actually my first, like, he was almost like a guinea pig. He was almost like my test client, and so that experience actually went much better than I would have and could have expected. So I went through the whole process with Rex, and like I found like pieces that I think would have truly like expressed like who he is, being obviously considerate of like fit and things of that nature, because fit is important obviously when you're talking about putting clothes on a person's body, but I consider fit, but I go beyond that. I feel like a lot of like styling companies will kind of they kind of play it safe. They'll ask you questions like, well, how do you, what are your sizes? How do you like things to fit? What colors do you like? And they'll kind of leave it at that. I go a little bit beyond that by asking different types of questions. For example, I like to ask you like, what's your favorite movie? Which people don't think has anything to do with like fit, but it has a lot to do with like your personality, which has a lot to do with your style. So working with Rex was really, really good. I found a lot of pieces that he actually really liked. And just like I said, went through the whole process. I did a whole proposal for him, which was again a thing that I loved. And then I think the thing that kind of sets me apart is that I do a little something extra and different at the end of my proposal. I'm not even gonna say what it is right now because I don't want nobody to take my idea.
And you should definitely keep that as
so I do a little something extra for most of my clients. But it was really good. Rex actually like what really solidified it for me was that he actually bought some of the stuff that I suggested. And I was like, oh, he's not just lying. He's not just being nice to me, because Rex is not nice. I was like, oh, he's actually, so yeah, like he gave me the credit card and everything. I was like, oh, this is for real.
Well, what do you think? I mean, what do you
This is
think?
real.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's why I say it was very affirming to me, because I was like, yeah, this is the work that I'm trying to do. This is the work that I'm wanting to do. So it was really good. I was nervous before I proposed my stuff to him, because again, it's Rex, and he's hard to please.
He's
So
very
he's gonna hate all of this. He's gonna hate it all. We went through the whole thing. He was like, I like this, I like this, I really like this, I love this, I love it. I was like, oh, I am good at what I do, aren't I?
Well, you know what though, too, and I think what was really important for you and for him, like this was so a lot of pieces, if I remember, you styled him for when he was going away for vacation.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first time that in a while that he had been away because of the pandemic and everything, and he really wanted to just kind of change some things up for himself. And then because he was doing his big European tour,
yes,
he wanted to look good, and I think you gave him that confidence with the things that you picked for him to go over there and strut his stuff and be his best self and have his best life. As you know, being a bodyguard for Beyonce.
Exactly.
So I think he really did appreciate that, and it's just good when you're able to step into yourself and to really live the life that you want to live and do the things that you want to do. And that's why I think that if you were still in that same position at work, you probably wouldn't be able to do what you're doing right now.
Yeah,
you wouldn't be able to pursue all the things that you're doing, because a lot of times we don't bet on ourselves. And I think one of the things that you did that's so encouraging and so brave is you took a chance and bet on yourself. No one else is going to do it if you don't do it for yourself.
Oh God, I'm gonna butcher the phrase, but like I don't know who said this or who came up with it, and it's not like really an old phrase, I don't think, or a quote or whatever, but it's something like, so let's working on a job, the paycheck you get is something like the price you pay for you're trading your dreams, or something like that. It's the paycheck you get for forgetting your dreams, or it's the price you pay to forget your dreams. So I working for a company or whatever, someone other than yourself, it's security, meaning it's financial security, more or less. For a fact that you're going to get paid every week, every 2 weeks, every month, whatever. For a fact that you're getting that money. And one thing that I have learned in this journey of not working for a corporation, a company, someone other than myself, is that all those times when I was working and I was getting a regular check and I thought I didn't have enough money, lies. Because I have gone from not getting a regular check to now really and truly trusting the universe. And I put a video on my YouTube about this, about being on the universe's payroll. And I realized I probably have spent more money like in the past year on things that really make me happy and investments in myself than I ever did when I worked. And knowing I was getting a regular check, I could have, but because my focus was so much on, work and oh my God, do I have enough to pay the bills? I was getting a regular check every single 2 weeks. I certainly could have, but it's now like, wow, okay, if I can really truly make it without getting a regular check, if and when I do, start working again for someone and start getting a regular check, I know I can do it then. So I left some of that, that regular financial security behind, and really did bet on myself and trusted that the universe was working for me, and trusted that the universe had my back. And it does. It truly does. Now, mind you, there are times where I'm like, I'm a little afraid because I don't know where the next, source of funds is going to come from. But so far, I've been truly, truly blessed. So
for over a year.
So I can't say it ain't working, because it definitely is.
Yeah. All right. So here's the thing. I know that you're not a planner, but where do you see yourself like in the next year to 5 years from now? Like, what are you going to be doing?
You know what? It's so fun. So you're saying a year or 5 years. In class just yesterday, today's Wednesday, yeah. In class
Yeah.
just yesterday, um, my professor asked us, where do you see yourself in 25 years?
Oh,
Um, so okay, next year, 5 years, I'm seeing the business up and running, successful, multiple clients, traveling, um, doing the things, living the life, um, truly continuing to invest in myself, continuing to do things that make me happy, continuing to um, just learn and grow more in the industries that I want to learn and grow in. Because though like fashion and styling that's my wheelhouse, the purpose of me choosing the program that I chose, which is again creative business leadership, and not choosing like fashion, is because I feel like I don't want to relegate myself simply to that one thing. Creative business leadership will allow me to move within a multitude of different industries, almost all industries. And so I have so many ideas. There's an idea right now that I would love to pitch to JC Penney. I'm trying to get in contact with JC Penney. It's fashion and styling, but it's also business. And
mm,
so um so yeah, a year, 5 years from now, I just see myself really kind of cultivating a lot of those ideas and growing those ideas and growing those projects. There's a yoga project I got that I want to start like within the next year, within the next few months, to be honest. So there are so many ideas that I really just want to do and work on and see come to fruition and be successful in those.
okay. And so you touched on something that I actually want to kind of finish on, and then we'll wrap this up. But you spoke about yoga, and I know that health and wellness and fitness has been a passion of yours, and especially over the last like year, you really kind of like really upped your game. Talk about what it means to you to be not just fit physically, but mentally.
Mm. Well, that's 100% yoga. That is what yoga is like it's a mental exercise and it's a physical exercise. So I started yoga in 2020 at right at the start of the pandemic. I had started January 2020, I started going to the gym again. Um, and March, of course, happened, and you couldn't go to the gym. And so I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna start an at-home yoga practice. I want to say it was my friend Raymond. He had turned me on to yoga with Adrian on YouTube. So I started doing at-home yoga. I did it, I want to say almost every day for like a year, and I've been doing it ever since. I'm a little bit more lax in it now, although um I do yoga at least once a week now. Sometimes it's 2 or 3 times a week. Um, Whereas in the past I was doing it every day. But yeah, yoga is such a great mental and physical workout. There have been times on the mat where I have shed tears. I'm not even lying. Like it it brings up so much, especially when cannabis is involved. It brings up so much that you don't realize that you're either holding in or not processing, that like it allows it to flow, and it allows you to truly like be more gentle with yourself and understand that like you don't have to be hard on yourself in this particular pose on the mat. You don't have to be hard on yourself off the mat in life. You can be more gentle with yourself and everything will actually be okay. And I'm the type of person, I'm my own worst critic. I'm very hard on myself. And that's because I have high standards for myself as well. And so I have to learn, and school has actually taught this to me too. Like, it's okay to back off a little bit. It's okay to relax a little bit. You don't have to go way, way, way above and beyond, because that's just how you run yourself ragged. That's how you just go crazy. It's okay to just relax a little bit, and your best is good enough. This is something I said to myself just yesterday. Your best is good enough. You don't have to exhaust yourself um, because you think that's the right thing to do. So, in a nutshell, that is yoga, and subsequently my like going to the gym and me becoming a gym rat as of late has really truly helped my physical as well as my mental.
You can definitely tell. So let's wrap up with this. What could relax TJ? What words of wisdom can you bestow upon the audience before we get out of here?
Ooh, okay. So okay, something yesterday I was connected. I was so connected yesterday. So this is something that I came up with yesterday. Was it yesterday or Monday? Regardless, just because someone doesn't see you does not mean you're invisible. Just
Mm,
because someone doesn't see you does not mean you're invisible. There are times when I feel like I'll speak for myself. There are times when I can feel like I am unseen, or there are some feelings of like inadequacy that comes up, or just wanting either a company or whomever to just be like, I see you for I see you the way you see yourself, because I have a very high self-esteem. um I see you the way you see yourself, but when you are trying so hard, and you're going unseen or ignored, it doesn't mean you're invisible. It just means that that person or that company or whatever, they're just not in a place to see you in the moment. So it doesn't
mm,
mean you're not good enough. It doesn't mean you're invisible. It doesn't mean, whatever. It simply means they just don't see you. They just don't have the vision for you right now. Or maybe they can't see you, or maybe the space that they're in, they're just unable to see you. And it has nothing to do with your worth. It has nothing to do with your visibility. Um, it is what it is. So yeah, that's, I guess, the word of wisdom that I just came up with for myself, just the other day, just yesterday.
well, that's awesome. And this has been an amazing conversation, an amazing catch up. As usual, this has been fun. We always have a good time when we get on the screen.
Do
TJ, Bizarre Hodgepodge, thank you so much for joining us today. I
thank
look forward to
you.
seeing you in your styling role. Can't wait for graduation.
Child,
Can't
you and me
wait for
both.
season 2 of the conference call and just
Yes.
everything you've got going for you. My brother, I wish you nothing but the best, and thank you again. And we'll see you around.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.
Well, there you go. Another great guest catching up. TJ's been amazing. I loved his stories. Um, and I think I'm going to like this relaxing TJ. But thank you guys for joining me for another great episode of Take Two. Join me next week when I'll have another great episode and another great guest. So until next time, guys, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next week. Bye. Thanks for watching this show on Indie Soup Media. Now, if you're watching here on YouTube, make sure to subscribe, like this video, and hit the notification button so that you can get notified when we drop new videos every week. See you guys next time.